Think we're live. It's still loading. Almost there. Almost there. Almost there. Almost there. Okay, cool. Had some audio issues and I didn't want it to glitch again, so I just restarted the live. We hadn't really gone too much anyways. I was mostly ranting. So that being said, all seems to be well. Can someone give me a heads up on the audio? Let me know if it's running. You said you sent me something. How are we doing on audio, guys? Can you hear me before I start continuing? Would be nice. It would be nice. Okay, cool. Oh, Kaylis, how's it going? Maria, nice to see you. Cool. Autumn Anna Rochelle McCluskey. McCluskey. Dope. Happy birthday, club. Okay, this is super cool, you guys. I stumbled on something about an hour ago, and I think it's going to be my next grand audiobook project. It's a whole goddamn Bible. So check this out. It's called the Kolbrin Bible, and I think it's 5 Bibles written in Celtic Druid, right? And then the other 6 are written Egyptian, which is super dope. It's like my ancestry. It's like they got both. They got the African side, they got the great British side. So I'm stoked. I think my dad might be here, by the way. So hopefully it doesn't throw a wrench in things. Okay, so it was written around the same time as the Old Testament, apparently. The original authors are not known. Some say it was channeled. I just came across this. I haven't done too much research. But I'm on Graham Hancock's website. And I'm stoked because if Graham Hancock's talking about it, then that means like we're on to something here. I love his stuff, and I'm glad to see where he's coming from most of the time. I'm going to read you one of the stories out of the Egyptian books so you guys can have a feeling of how they roll in this text. I haven't read this yet, so let me double check and make sure everything's going good. Me too, Kalis. It's 10, 11, 12. It's midnight. No, it's not midnight. It's 12. I can't count. 9, 10, 11. It's 11 over there. Namaste, Luna. I know. Isn't Graham awesome? Okay, so let me start reading. Oh, this is a story out of one of the Egyptian books. It says, at the very beginning of human life, different species of men exist in the world. The Book of Origins, it's one of the books out of the Egyptian section. The Book of Origins states that there were 2 species. One, the children of God. They struggled harder, were more disciplined because their forefathers had crossed the great dark void from another unearthly place far distant, and they do not inherit death. Right away, we're getting some similarities with emerald tablets, so I'm stoked. And another was a primitive indigenous species called the children of earth, known as Yoslings, half folk, like hobbits, not true men, sons of both us, and kinsfolk to the beasts of the forest. They are also called men of Zumat, meaning they who inherit death. So we have the children of God and the children of earth, which is like this, which is basically a story of Atlanteans type stuff, emerald tablets type stuff, like children of the light and then children of the earth. It's like earlier today, before I go on, side note, I got real sad earlier because I was reading one of the books they found at the Dead Sea Scrolls was the Book of Giants, and it talked about how the giants realized their error, the Nephilim slash what the giants slash Nephilim realized their error and pleaded to Enoch to speak on their behalf to God. And it's just a super fat talk. It talks about the giants in context of Enoch and all those lost books, which is super fascinating. But like 80% of the material is chewed up, and I got hella sad. And I thought, I swear to God, I had this thought earlier. I thought, if this stuff has any bearing of truth to history, then it's got to be the story has to be told elsewhere in other cultures. And I was thinking maybe like China's got something, or you never hear about texts coming from Russia. So maybe like one of these no-name huge places that you never really get to read stuff from are holding down information under their cultural lens, but it's actually the same story. They have their own names for it and their own like metaphors to describe it, but it's the same story. So I was thinking, I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool if I could find that? I wish I could come across a text that would sort of start filling in gaps, at least somewhat close, for the sake of my own satisfaction. And then I go find this, and immediately in the story, it's got corresponding elements to Atlantis, to Emerald Tablets. So we'll just keep going. So it's contending with different types of humans that coexisted. There was another one called the Grand Company, who subsequently withdrew in disgust at the behavior of mankind. The children of God, led by a wise father who knew truth and lived in the midst of peace and plenty. The children of men, a primitive indigenous species who were wild and savage, clothed in the skins of beasts. And the men of Zumat, Yoslings, who were even wilder. Okay, so then it says, let me double check, make sure we're all good here still. Okay, cool. But when eventually matings start to occur, because you know how we children of earth do it, I guess everyone, even the children of God, were about it. This is described as the first defilement. Both the children of God and the Yoslings fall ill. And a spirit being tells the children of God, the greatest of evils has befallen the race of the children of God. The fetid flow defiling the woman results from the incompatible intermingling, but it is not all. For sicknesses and diseases are also generating from the ferments of impure implantation, because you two are now as one. The cankerworms of disease and sickness strike both equally. That's super heavy, man. And then it says the children of God are then banished from the garden land and it becomes a desert. So again, another correspondence, this time to the Bible, the children of God are banished from the garden land, the Garden of Eden, and it becomes a desert. You know, it's interesting. I don't know if you guys pay attention when you're watching shows, but whenever you see a red apple in any movie or show, there's always some sort of sexual thing or deviancy that comes. Just pay attention to that, and I'm showing basically the correspondences, so the symbols that we see. Again, I'm stoked to find this because I'm only reading one story of this huge Bible, more or less, and I'm already able to sort of plug things in together. I'm stoked. I love it when a good plan comes together. Okay. The first Yosling man, so the Yoslings were even wilder than the children of the earth, remember? The children of the earth were the ones who wore the animal skins, and the Yoslings were even wilder. So the first Yosling man to mate with a woman of the children of God dies of his illness, but his lover gives birth to a daughter. So you basically got an STD from the child of God. She gave him an STD, killed his ass, but he gave her a daughter. The hybrid offspring is described as a cuckoo child. She is an unusual female with long red hair. Ooh, redheads, what up? Never seen before. And she lives by herself in the forest as a sorceress, preferring the company of yoslings. Okay, so she's a half wild woman, half angel, but she likes the company of the wildlings. Eventually, she marries a great hero of the children of God in the land of Caucasus. The Caucasus, so Eastern Europe. Versions of her story appear in both the Egyptian and Celtic books. The second defilement happens later when woman is tempted by the strength and wildness of the beast which dwelt in the forest. We are told that because of the wickedness that was done, there are among men those who are the children of a beast, and they are a different people. And then a note, what do you call a footnote, says, compare with the Aramaic version of the Book of Giants. So I was just talking about the Book of Giants, found in Qumran. Fragments, 200 donkeys, 200 asses, 200 rams of flock, 200 goats, 200 beasts, the field from every animal, from every bird. Miscegenation, inbreeding of people considered to be of different races, and they begot giants and monsters. So when I told you I was sad earlier about finding other stuff, I was reading the Book of Giants, which is one of the books that was found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. But like every single paragraph is riddled with blanks. So it's almost, that's why I was so sad. I was like, damn, this seems like such an interesting text to read. I feel like it would plug in a lot of holes from my other studies, but I can't. And lo and behold, the next one I find references the last paragraph that I read. When I had that sad boy moment, I was about to put on Billie Eilish. I was like, fuck, Billie, where you at? And here we are. Thank you, whoever's looking out for us, man. Thank you kindly. Stoked, so stoked. I'm reading your guys' comments, okay? China, yeah, what up? So they got STDs, apparently. Spiritual STDs. Hello, Phoenix. We lit, Jared. We lit. Okay. All right. Nice. I'm glad you guys are stoked as I am. I'm gonna continue reading. So the Kolbrin makes clear that it is woman and woman alone who is responsible for the two genetic defilements of the race of the children of God. For it is she who weakens and mates, first with a yosling, then with the beasts of the forest. By defiling her race, she does herself a great disfavor, for the children of God regard women as the equal of men, whereas the children of men use her as a sex slave and a chattel, which over time becomes the norm throughout the human race. Woo! Interesting. My question is, why would she do that then? She must have known how the children of earth, she must have known how they rolled. Why would, anywho, over thousands of generations and endless intermingling, distinctions between the species gradually disappear, and the resulting mixture becomes the shorter-lived, disease-prone human beings we are now. The Colbrin gives footnote. The Colbrin gives an interesting explanation of the lengthy lifespans recorded in the Old Testament and the Sumer. That's, I think about that too. So the footnote came from Graham Hancock himself, and he says that in the actual, because right now we're not reading the actual book. He's basically paraphrasing. He's telling you the story in his own words. I'm not reading verbatim from the Kolbrin. I'm reading Hancock's words on it. But he says that in the actual book, it gives interesting explanation of the lengthy lifespans recorded in the Old Testament. Because as you guys know, fucking Noah, Adam and Eve, Abraham, like all those dudes lived hundreds of years. It wasn't until after the flood of Noah's children, I believe, were the ones who started to live younger lives. Go figure, the flood was also wiping out the giants. The giants are also the Nephilim, the defilement that we're talking about. So again, tons of interesting overlapping information in this book. I'm so stoked we found it. It's pretty intact. It's a split between Egyptian and Celtic, which is like, I like it. Anywho, let's continue. It then says, the earth is destroyed by fire. Man survives, but he is not the same. The sun is not as it was before, and a moon disappears. A subsequent destruction splits apart the eastern and western mountains so that they stand up in the sea and tilts the northern landmass over on its side. Damn. The lands of the little people, the giants, the necklace ones, and the land of marshes and mists are all destroyed. And then it has an image of the necklace ones, and it looks terrifying. In the intensely cold age that follows, human beings survive by hiding in caves. They are terrorized by giant beasts until, following heavenly rebellion and turmoil, a cataclysm hardens the face of the earth and turns the beasts to stone. Subsequently, the earth is destroyed by the flood of Atuma, then by the deluge. The deluge story is followed by a lengthy version of the Gilgamesh story with a hero called Hermanatar. When Osiah/Yosira, the Great Ones, comes from the west with the people of light seeking refuge in Egypt. Wait a minute. Another hardcore. So someone fact check me, but doesn't Thoth in the Emerald Tablets say that him and his children of the sun, of the light of heavens, don't they travel east to find the men of the caves and the land of Kemet, the burnt skin ones? This is the exact story of the Emerald Tablets right here. Is it not? Seeking refuge in Egypt after the destruction of their own land, to the people in caves, because that's where they met. He found the people in caves and taught them their ways. So it's continuing. It says, Ramakui of the 7 cities, land of copper. He finds a population living in holes in the ground. Following the cataclysm, a plague has wiped out all the adult population and with all knowledge of basic living skills. The remaining population includes men who were blood kindred with the beasts of the forest, or with fowl, or with the serpent, who dwelt together according to their kinship and were divided thereby. Osiris teaches the lost generation how to grow corn, to spin, and to carve stone, as well as writing and numbers, which is what Thoth did. He was the god of writing and numbers. But when he tries to teach the people about God, they do not understand him, so he invents signs and simple tales, the first ever myths, to help them understand. He tells them that when he dies, the son will become their adoptive parent in his place. He is much beloved by the common people. Osiris has brought with him from Ramakui amazing technology. The sacred eye and the firestone, which gathers the light of the sun, forms of knowledge lost to us now, just as we have lost the rituals of seashells and the song of the stars. Above all, he brings with him, out of his people's transparent temples, the light that shines when darkness falls without being lit. Sounds like was it the Even Star from Lord of the Rings? Osiris is not like other men. Awfully close to Osiris, maybe it's the same person, wearing robes of black linen and a red headdress. He has the likeness of a god, and his bones are not as those of others. When eventually he dies in the manner of men, he leaves behind him a flourishing civilization. Whoa, this goes on. This is a huge, maybe I'm not going to read this whole thing. Or maybe I am. I could be convinced, but it's kind of long. But I could be convinced. I'm going to check in with you guys' comments to see. She was in her alpha male. Brandy is love. Hello, Luna James. Hello, Phoenix. What's cracking? Kalis, still here. Hi. Hi, Maria. Ruled by forcing fear. What are we reading, Keith? We're reading from the Kolbrin Bible. Kolbrin Bible. So we're reading from Graham Hancock's website, where he talks about the Kolbrin Bible. And we're reading something written by the Egyptians roughly during the same time the Old Testament was being written. All these books are the same, prophets sharing the same info. Yes, the Hopi. How do you access the book? Hey, John Smith, what up? Just Google it, man. Woman, sorry. Jaded Gems. Just Google it, Colbrin Bible. It's going to be the next audiobook that I'm going to, it's going to be the next substantial audiobook that I make, but it's probably going to be a good while before I'm finished because it's going to take a while. It seems like there's a lot of material here, but I'm stoked nonetheless. I guess we can continue. Okay, it says later, wise men come to Egypt from Zador, another land recently destroyed. They are great astronomers. They reject the idea of the sun as a god, and they have a unique mummification practice of covering the bodies of their dead with potter's clay and leaving it to harden. Under the twin influences of Osiris and the wise men of Zador, Egypt becomes a land of two peoples, two streams of wisdom and two hierarchies of gods. A few Egyptians learn how to move outside their everyday consciousness to glimpse what happens beyond death and how, by long spiritual preparation and the enduring the awfulness of the false death, the strongest among them can become fearless twice-borns. It is the wise men of Zador who build the great guardian Rakima, the great house of the hidden places which once contained the womb of rebirth used by the twice-born. They also build the temple of the radiant ones at Giza, and they write on a great stone above the entrance, "From the children of God to the children of men. Behold, we found you in bondage to mortal bodies and bestowed upon you the gift of everlasting life." Bondage. Bondage, BDSM. Bondage is mentioned 1,000 times in the Emerald Tablets specifically. That's what he teaches. Unfetter your bondage. Unfetter your bondage is what's... Over subsequent centuries, Egyptian scribes wonder where their motherland could have been. They consider all the geographical options where strange races live and speculate whether the motherland might have been Ramakui, Zador, or some earlier civilization. The Book of Origins states unequivocally that their cradle land was Caucasus, aka the Caucasus. Egypt prospers. Its rulers put spirituality and duty to their subjects above all else. Their sacred knowledge is carefully written down and preserved alongside the earliest records brought to Egypt by Osiris and the wise men of Zador. These sacred texts are stored in 4 secret geographical locations. But the land also suffers wars, calamities, and cataclysms. One 18th dynasty scribe looks back at his civilization and writes, "My land is old. 120 generations have passed through it since Osiris brought light to men. 4 times the stars have moved to new positions, and twice the sun has changed the direction of his journey. Twice the destroyer has struck earth, and 3 times the heavens have opened and shut. Twice the land has been swept clean by water." That's my 18th dynasty scribe accent. Throughout the Egyptian books, nearly 30 references are made to the destroyer. The destroyer is also mentioned, footnote, the destroyer is also mentioned in Exodus, Jeremiah, and Job. And over an overwhelming, destructive, heavenly phenomenon that appears regularly every few thousand years and is so terrible as to be beyond man's understanding. Its appearance and behavior are described in detail, particularly during an account of the Israelite slave exodus from Egypt. Over and over, the Egyptian books prophesy the return of the destroyer, and their precise descriptions of the state of the world at the time of its return are not just a shrill millennial warning, but could well refer to our own time. Somehow, Egypt survives these cataclysms, but as the centuries roll on, the country begins to weaken. The Egyptian religion has always been split into, on the one hand, the open religion of the common people, and on the other, the secretive mysteries practiced by priests within the inner temples. Gradually, Egypt becomes idealistically and spiritually lazy. At one point, a man called Setra conceives a plan to allow everyone to participate in the sacred mysteries, hitherto reserved. God, I hate that guy. Okay, so some dude called Setra decides he wants to let everyone in on the sacred mysteries, yada yada. Some friends become enemies, some enemies become friends. He gathers together a following of his own and promises them knowledge of all things sacred. What follows is strife most grievous. That is in some way connected to the House of the Hidden Places. A scroll described in the Kolbrin as extremely ancient says that the twin powers drawn down entwined about themselves and grew even stronger. Think of Hermes again, right? Both Hermes, and you have the two or the DNA helix, two powers that descend or ascend, and they intertwine around each other. Where'd I go? Lost my spot. Some weird shit going on in the statue. Looks quite provocative. Phoenix 9, Native American teachers. We're gonna. I would love to hear more about that. Story time. I know Atlas loves him. It's funny. Atlas will. he comes running. I hear his little feet, and he goes, "Da!" And he holds up one of his books. He goes, "Da!" And then I grab the book and I sit down. I sit down with my legs out, and he like scrambles and he jumps in my lap and like throws his back against my chest and goes, "Da, da!" Like, read. And I read. And then I finish the book and he goes, "Da!" Again, like, "Da!" And so we have lots of story times. What's up, Slavi? Agent Smith. Kill him. I fucking wish I could. It's funny. If I'm being completely honest, I fantasized shooting someone the other day over loud noises. I was like, what if I was just the most gangster ass dude? Like, you know, you see in the movies where the guy goes postal and kills someone over like cutting in front of him in line, but it was just the one thing. And I thought if I was gonna snap over the one thing and murder someone, it would be that dude who just fucking went by right now with that obnoxiously loud car. It would be him, for sure, hands down. If I had like I slip and I snap and I'm never the same again, and I just could do it without hesitation, that would be it. That would be the moment where it happened. So, be that what it means. Yeah. Anywho, let's carry on. Luna Gems. Yes, that's funny because that was the image I had in my head when he yeah, when he busts open the friggin' machine in the parking lot. He's like, I just took a deep breath and it worked. And she's like, yeah. And then he smashes. And it was him the whole time. He was just lying. So I was thinking of minus the smashing part. All right, we're going to keep going. The same scribe aims some strong criticism at the establishments of the land. The same scribe. O Egypt, you have turned the gods that are not, but the spirits of men returned to dwell in wood and stone. The ears of rulers are closed to words of wisdom. The doors of their hearts are bolted against truth. Egyptians still remember from their past that Osiris and the priests from Zador had astonishing powers and could even bring a form of life back into a dead body so that the soul might commune with the living. But their memories are vague, and since their priests no longer know how to perform such supernatural feats, they reason that preserving a dead body from decay might mean one day it could be restored to life. So they developed the art of mummification. And the fuck was that? Did you hear that? Mummification. Lost my spot. Oh yeah. So they developed the art of mummification and charged for it. A scribe writes, priests grow fat on the riches bestowed for the preservation of the body, while those who speak of the preservation of the soul are tormented. Religious practice lapses into empty ritual. Damn. I don't know why that hit so deep, but I'm going to read it again. Religious practice lapses into empty ritual. An attempt by Pharaoh An attempt by Pharaoh Akhenaten. An attempt by Pharaoh Akhenaten. It's a gangster-ass name, Akhenaten. To introduce a new sun religion comes to nothing. Partly because of his own spiritual inadequacy, partly because of his epileptic fits, and partly because of his licentious behavior, culminating in an incestuous relationship with his daughter, which appalls everyone who hear of it. Bum, bum, bum. This is a juicy ass text. Check this out. Side footnote. On October 26, 2014, on the BBC's program Tutankhamun, CT scans and DNA tests have proved conclusively that Amhotep III and his son Akhenaten, the same dude, were congenital epileptics, and that Tutankhamun's many medical conditions, necrosis of the bones, were the result of an incestuous relationship between Akhenaten and his sister. Kolbrin readers already knew about the epilepsy in the Book of Manuscripts. Akhenaten's fits are described in detail, but the Kolbrin states that the Akhenaten's incestuous relationship was not with his sister, it was with his daughter, Meritaten. It also says that the two sons were born of his incestuous relationship. Damn, this is putting a whole new spin on ancient Egypt and their practices, man. It's putting a whole new spin. Maybe this is why I couldn't sink into. I've tried to really dive into Egyptian mythology, to all the mythologies, but some of them it seems like something just don't feel right. You know what I mean? And the stuff that we're reading now is really, it's doing something for me. You know what I'm saying? Wanna bet the Egyptians knew that we can regenerate people from their DNA, so they cleaned out and preserved their dead bodies, so we can do that in the future. Akhenaten. Thank you. That na is what I was fucking up on. Akhenaten. That sounds way more Egyptian. Commission. Yeah, but remember in here, it's saying that they got it wrong, right? It didn't say they were bringing bodies back to life. It said that they could prepare bodies in a way so that they could put a spirit into it so that you could commune with the spirit world. And that the Egyptians, because they lost the knowledge, thought that they could literally bring someone back to life. But that wasn't the case. It was just putting a spirit in a dead body so that you can commune, and then that was it, not bringing it back completely from the dead. So according to the Kolbrin, the Egyptians have been fucking it up the whole time. The mummification process is saying that it's a hollow religious practice. That's all ceremony and no, nothing else. Akhenaten. Thank you, Kalis. Akhenaten. Okay, continuing. However, some still follow the old spirituality and preserve the ancient written knowledge passed down from Osiris and the wise men of Zador. A few Egyptians still go through the long preparation and immense ordeal of becoming twice born, but the old ways are increasingly frowned on by the majority. The people who practice them are ostracized. Two of the individuals mentioned by name are Pasenesu. Other 18th dynasty Egyptians whose works appear in the Kolbrin include Hapu, Senmut, and a female poet called Nefertari. Eventually, these people's lives and the records they treasure are thought to be in grave danger. Knowing from past prophecy that their spiritual path lies in another land away to the north, the guardians of the sacred writings make a crucial decision. They leave Egypt, smuggling out a complete set of their writings, and go into exile. Peace out, Egypt. Shit's weak. I got trifling ass incestuous prophets that epileptic seizure and shit trying to introduce new sun gods. You over here smashing on your daughter. Like, dude, we're out. Over here trying to mummify the homie squad. We're just trying to charge for mummification. That shit don't work. You got it all wrong. You got me twisted, fam. And as a result, we're going to Ireland to study with the Celtic Druids, to learn a wee bit about the nature and the natural world and the gates and so on and so forth that come from those who are twice, 3 times risen. And we'll see how it unfolds from there, how the narrative continues. It has now become the story of the Sons of Fire, whose quest is to guard the great book of Egypt and find a safe home for themselves. The Sons of Fire are said to be highly skilled metalworkers of Tyre, people of the Twin Cities. Knowing they must go north, the Sons of Fire make their scrolls and metal plate texts watertight, load their provisions, and set sail. But the place where they try to settle first and build a city is full of wild men. Remember, because we're in a time when there's a bunch of different versions of man living, of human living. So they dip, try to find a new place, take all the goods, take the booty, set sail, find somewhere, whole bunch of wild people. It says, it is on the edge of the known world and the now destroyed land of mists and the kingdom of the trees, which is where the halflings and the no-neck people lived from earlier in the book. Remember that? Where the dampness causes sickness and many of them die. After some years, knowing they will all die if they stay there any longer, the Sons of Fire set sail again northwards. They come across a group of Greek refugees from Troy and travel together. Eventually, they arrive on the south coast of Britain. Told you they're headed to Ireland. At this time, post-Ice Age Britain is still an empty land inhabited by painted men. And a few 6-cubit, 9-foot giants, survivors of the cataclysm that destroyed most of the race of giants. The Trojans sail on to Dodona with their leader, Coroneus. And after slaying the few remaining giants still living in Belharia, it's jacked up, man. The same giants are builders of great temples, and they are 6 cubits tall. The migrants settle in what is now Cornwall. Several different languages are known to have been spoken in Britain at this time. We're actually almost done. The Sons of Fire move on and settle in a place named after a brave barbarian fighter called Cluth. They later move not far distant and settle by the waters of Gleith, where they set up a temple and establish their own distinctive way of life, adding laws to their existing books. The Sons of Fire have brought with them 5 great book boxes containing 132 scrolls and 5 ring-bound volumes, known as the Greater Book of the Egyptians and the Lesser Book of the Egyptians. These books include the Book of the Trial of the Great God, the Sacred Register, the Book of Establishment, the Book of Magical Concoctions, the Book of Songs, nice, the Book of Creation, the Book of Destruction, and the Book of Tribulation. The Great Book of the Sons of Fire, which contains, among other texts, the Book of Secret Lore and the Book of Decrees. What we are left with centuries later are the Book of Creation, Gleanings, Scrolls, the Sons of Fire, Book of Manuscripts, and the Book of Morals and Precepts. Nothing is known about the Book of the Trojans, once listed with the other books. So that was a story from the Kolbrin under the Egyptian section of the Kolbrin. And if I want to keep reading, there's a story in the Celtic books of the same Bible, which is actually kind of short. So we'll see how you guys are doing over in the chat room. The Egyptologists have been hiding the truth. The ones who are keep all sacred, still elected to the day. Kind of unrelated, but there's a real company called Alcor that will cryogenically freeze your body in the hopes of reviving it when and if the science permits. Wait, science won't permit it yet to revive someone? What up, Honey Gummy? Understanding the ancients. Understanding the ancients takes intuition. Nice, well said. It's super interesting, isn't it? Brienne Elizabeth. It's a nice proper name. Hello, my name is Brienne Elizabeth. Apparently we already have that kind of tech. Yeah, Gnomon is very costly. Elven wisdom, or oh my, the no-neck people live in Inner Earth. Yo, don't get me started on Inner Earth, my dude. Catch me on the first boat that's going through the Arctic Circle hole. I am down. The no-necks are from what we're reading right now, but earlier in the chapter it talked about a whole bunch of different races of people that lived together at the same time, and then the race of the no-neck people, and the image shows literally shoulders and then a face at the top, like the top of the head would be at my Adam's apple, and then everything else is, it's weird. Miners, Lord of the Rings. Oh yeah, everyone hit the like button for me, pretty please. I'd really appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I know this type of material is not necessarily overtly exciting to the majority of the population, but as far as I'm concerned, if there's 23 people in a room stoked on something like this, that's a fuck ton of people, and I'm stoked that you guys are here, so thank you. Man of Letters Escapade to Inner Earth. So check this, story time. One of my first introductions to like conspiracy theories, even spirituality, to like all the supernatural world, period. Like outside of my regular, it's like playing baseball, fucking with all the other baseball players in college, like just partying and like doing that thing. And then I got into this whole other sideways world of supernatural. Hollow Earth was my gateway drug, and I researched the fuck out of it. Heavy. Like I know all the Hollow Earth entrances in California and some on the East Coast, some in other parts of the world. I know like who's there. Admiral Byrd went down there, flew in there in 47. He's got his diaries. Like, yo, they let in or they started to get an expedition together. They got funded. They rented the boat. It was in like 2009 or 10 or something like that. And this was when I was in college. So this is 2000, like probably 10, 11, 12 when I was looking this up. And I was like, what? This just happened? So I went to look it up and to find out what happened to this expedition to Inner Earth. And the dude who was forerunning it like died of some, well, not mysterious, but he died like days before the expedition was supposed to take off of heart failure. And as far as I'm aware, that was the last expedition that was supposed to be launched. So if we have to do a Man of Letters escapade to Inner Earth, Kalis Maria van Steylen, I can't remember how to pronounce your last name. Trust, if you want in, you got it. You just got it. You have to contribute to the escapade. I don't know what your like specialty is. Maybe you can be like the demolitions expert who blows shit up for us, or you could be like the genius that problem solves on the go. It's kind of timid, but super smart. Has to be protected by like the other kind of roughneck people. Whatever. We gotta find out your role, Kalis. Whatever you want. Whoa, who were obese elephant-looking beings that were intertwined with the Anunnaki? Sarah, yeah, rabbit hole. Damn, dude. Yeah, Hollow Earth was my rabbit hole. And I still go down that hole on occasion. That was the OG. You can't forget where you guys came from. So you gotta humor it. Apparently there's watermelon-sized grapes that grow. So check this out. If you guys don't know much about Hollow Earth and how it works, there's a inner sun. So it's perpetual daylight, but the sun isn't nuclear fusion like our sun that emits harmful rays alongside the helpful rays. This internal sun is described as a mass of electrons that casts light. So you get the benefits of light, like photosynthesis, but you don't get the negative effects of the fusion, which is UV. So like your skin gets damaged, like oxidizing flesh and shit like that. Even most plants don't like the sun as much as people think. Most plants don't like full direct blistering sunlight because they'll fucking fry. Even my frankincense trees that come from the desert, if they're in full sunlight, you'll kill them immediately within the first month of life. After the fact, yeah, they get stronger and sturdier. But again, the UV from the sun is way too powerful. It kills pretty much 100% of things on the planet, the sun. Anywho, Hollow Earth operates with a gangster sun, and as a result, everything grows bigger. The beings live longer. Fruit grows to a massive size, like watermelon-sized grapes. It's dope. I want to fucking go. I want to go. I want to go. Ha. Agent Smith is the muscle. Agent Smith is the muscle for the expedition, and the Agent Smith, dude. You're just the one that appears when we need you to appear. You just take over people's bodies if we come across them. I'm the mouse. Oh, perfect, Kalis. Nice. We need a mouse. There's always a mouse, right? There's always the one who's like low key. So if we need you to steal, like if we get locked in a dungeon by inner earth beings, Kalis, you will be the one that sneaks out undetected, stealth mouse-like, and you sneak over and you get the keys of the guard that's asleep, or like you throw a rock at one of the guards, and the other guard goes, "Hey man, why'd you throw a rock at me?" And he goes, "I didn't throw the rock." He's like, "Yeah, you did. Who else could it have been?" And then they start fighting each other. Some friends become enemies. Some enemies become friends. You steal the keys. Agent Smith punches the dude on the way out. We got our inner earth squad, man. So we got Kalis, Smith, and myself. Accepting applications. Email Keith Garcia 808 with a Y, gmail.com. Let me know what's up. Phoenix 9. What's going on with Phoenix 9? Did I miss something? War Titan? Jesus Christ. We know what your job is going to be, War Titan. You're going to be leading the pack with the warfare stuff. Dope. Nice. We got a good gang already. I like it. This is why I started a YouTube channel, so I could put together an inner earth expedition. The secret's out, you guys. I know you thought I was on here to share knowledge, information, and entertainment and like hang and be homies and shit. No, I actually came on here to start a inner earth expedition, and you guys are the recruits. Welcome. Take your shoes off, stay a while. Also, what's Phoenix 9? Is he dropping knowledge because you guys are suggesting him be on the channel? I visited inner earth, not in my body. Nice. So Phoenix 9, again with the rabbit hole, that was the whole reason why I wanted to study astral projection, was to visit inner earth, because that's what they say, that you can visit it by astral projection. So I was like, fuck that, I'm astral projecting. And I couldn't get it, so I learned how to lucid dream, because apparently you can lucid dream and it's much easier to astral project from a lucid dream. So I was like, all right, I'm going to learn how to lucid dream. And I started like meditation, like Kundalini shit popped up, lucid dreaming, and out-of-body experiences, and aliens. All of this shit, this world exploded because I was trying to get to Hollow Earth, you guys. This is the creation story for Keith right now, is what you're hearing. I hope that's entertaining, I guess. Nice. Anyhow. I meant the mousy problem solver, but I can steal things too. I am literally small. Nice. Okay, well, you're going to be the problem solver / Steal. You're like our Hobbit. You're the burglar. You're the burglar of the group, Kalis. That's literally what the Hobbit was in. Did you ever read Lord of the Rings? That's what the Hobbit was. That's what Bilbo Baggins's role was in the company of dwarves. He was the burglar. He was the one that was going to steal the actual gemstone when they got there, but he was also the one that was coming up with plans the entire time on how to do things and how to overcome things. He was sort of the morale guy, keeping shit together when it got hairy. Nice. Yeah, Phoenix, I'm down to get you on the channel, by the way. If it sounds like something you're interested in, it sounds like it sounds like you've got some things to say that we would enjoy hearing. So if you're down. Yeah, I used to watch Ryan Cropper for astral projection tips, and yeah, it didn't stick. It didn't stick. It didn't stick. There's another guy I watch for my astral projection stuff, and I like it because he's more my go-to guy for astral projection is nuts and bolts, nothing flashy. Here's a bunch of different ways, to the point, succinct, you know what I mean? And Ryan Cropper is a little too theatrical for my taste. It's like, all right, I get it, man. I get it. It's YouTube and shit, but like Ryan, get on with it, man. He's homies though. I tried getting him on the live and he wasn't down. He never responded, but I'll probably hit him up again and be like, Ryan, come on, bring those goddamn theatrics on the channel. Let's talk lucid dreaming. Have you ever been to Hollow Earth? That's what I'm going to ask him. Like, if you are telling me that you've been astral projecting all these years and you haven't been to Hollow Earth yet, I'm going to kick him off the channel. Right then and there, I'm going to end the live. I'm going to kick him out of the room and I'm going to get Phoenix on the live if he tells me that he hasn't. What else? What are you doing with all your astral projecting if you're not visiting Hollow Earth? Phoenix, Keith, I've been with you for years, just quietly. Not quietly, Phoenix. I've seen you pop up before quite a bit. I didn't realize it's been years, though. Holy shit, are we getting that old? Nice. Well, if you're down, the Bagginses. The Bagginses. Shia Baggins. I need to watch that movie again. It makes me so happy. You have no idea how giddy you just made me by saying the Bagginses. Who do you like to watch? I can't remember the guy's name, but it was called like Lucid Dreaming. I think it's his YouTube channel. And he actually does I don't even think he ever shows his face. He just shows, he writes out a script and he's like, this is how you have to project. This is this technique, start to finish. This is this technique, start to finish. Who do I watch spiritually? As far as spiritual YouTubers go, my homie Spiritual Initiate, who's not by any means, I think he's pushing 10K subscribers. He was on the channel a while ago. I like him. I like his perspective because he's also no bullshit and doesn't make stuff for clickbait. You know what I mean? I have a bad habit of getting turned off by people, even if they have good information, which is why I'm calling it a bad habit, but still being turned off by people who are just overtly, where you can tell their energy is going into like getting clicks or being overly unnecessarily theatric. I can't. I like start talking shit in my head and I can't take them seriously. Like, even if like to their what's the word I'm looking for? To their credit, the information, like Ryan Cropper, information is great. I'm sure it's fucking wonderful. I just can't. I'm like, I can't. I don't know. It's something in me. I'm working on it. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm working on it. But I don't have too many spiritual YouTubers. I don't follow any. Spiritual Ashira, I watch. Not as much as I used to, but she's homies. Her videos just stay long as fuck, and I don't have that kind of attention span, even though my videos are hours long. I don't know. Who else do I watch? Young Pharaoh I watch actually quite a bit. I watch Young Pharaoh quite a bit. I love that dude style. I would love to get him on the channel. Man, that dude drops information and it's 99% of it is fact-based. He does his research. He's fucking grounded, but he's super heady. I like his style. Young Pharaoh is probably my go-to for spiritual. And any other sort of and YouTube entertainment as far as knowledge and information goes. The Dilo the Pilot Man, I subscribe to him because I liked him, but I don't ever watch his videos. I do that. I'm like, oh, this person's actually dope, and I subscribe, and then I don't follow up. Well, Phoenix, you don't have to show your face. You can keep that spooky ass Nightmare Before Christmas looking black mask just on the thing. You don't even have to show your face. You can remain anonymous till the day you die, as far as this channel is concerned, and we wouldn't mind one bit. At least I would. I like young Pharaoh, but he attaches too much to race. He does, but what I do like about him is that he hates on all the races equally. He's like, I like him because he's like, if you're a dumbass, you're a dumbass. Like, here's all the evidence, here's all the information. If you can't make proper conclusions off of mountains of information and evidence, you're a goddamn clown. And he's like, I don't care if you're black, white, Mexican, Asian. I like it. I like it. Anywho, should we call it or should we read the Celtic one? Because letter found in an old copy. So I was reading things. Do not become a griffin. All right, locality. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's only like 6 or 7 paragraphs long. I guess we could do that. It's 9 o'clock over here. You guys going to bed yet? Should we call it? Should we save that for tomorrow night? Like, how you guys feeling? What's up? Talk to me. Talk to me. Next night, Keith in interactive in first. You speaking in code right now, Slavi? What are you saying? All right, Kayla, thanks for chilling. Have a good night. We'll catch you. Don't go too far, Mouse. We need you for the expedition, all right? We need you. What about Instagram, Slavi? You have to go to work. Gummy, where are you from? You got to go to work at this hour. Are you a lady of the night? We are the creatures of the night. Whoa. Oh. All right, we'll read it. It's relatively short. It's way shorter than the last one. So here we go. The story in the Celtic books. Celtic texts make up the second part of the Kolbrin. The scribes writing them are clearly impressed by the Egyptian books, which they have copied and preserved. For they try to set out the ancient history of Britain in the same format as the Egyptian texts. The Celtic texts do not mention the Egyptian books or their whereabouts, but they do refer to certain treasures stated in the Egyptian books to have disappeared which seemed to correspond to items brought to Egypt by Osiris. The heart of Britain is the Moon Chalice, which was brought here by the hands of the chief of the Cassini. He became shipborne to Raffinia, which is by the Mount of Lud, against Ardmol, passing Innsbruck. He became to Aitine, where he did the treasure in Trebethu. These words are wild. It was not captured, as men say, nor could it decay. In the fullness of time, it came to Cargwen. There it was kept secured with the Grail Stone and the ever-virgin vessel which brought down the rays of the sun. Thus it was these treasures of Egypt came to Britain. This was the secret of Britain. Interesting, it talks about a thing that is timeless and does not break down. Emerald tablets brought from Egypt. So the Book of Origins, or Pharaoh book, included in this book is an important retelling of the flood tale brought by early immigrants to Britain known as the wild land cultivators, who come from Caucasus, the Caucasus. It also describes the indigenous peoples living in Britain when the first immigrants settled there. The flood tale in this book mentions not one but two ships of flood survivors, a ship with a house on it and the Brim Kofer. The Book of the Silver Bow. This has among its writings some prophetic text about the return of the Frightener, corresponding to prophecies about the destroyer in the Egyptian books, but with some other details. The Book of Lucius, the Book of Wisdom, the Britain book. 2 chapters of this book contain an apocryphal gospel of the life of Jesus, stating that he was not divine and giving details such as that he and his disciples would sometimes go down to Tyre to work on Joseph of Arimathea's ships. There is a full description of how Joseph of Abramatha and his companions arrive in Britain. Joseph's subsequent dealings with the Druids and King Caridu, and the rocky progress of early Christianity in Britain over the first few hundred years, including the persecution of early Christians by the Romans. Hancock then says, I've done my best to decode Joseph's route from place names provided in the Celtic books. In the books of Britain, it is written, Iliad, Joseph of Arimathea, came seaborne in a ship of Tarsus on the Spanish peninsula from across the Sea of Witka, setting up at Raffinia, Richborough, Kent, and the land of the Wains. From hence to the river Tarrant, which is the river Trent, which flows between the kingdom of Albany and the kingdom of Corey, which is Cornwall. Albany being the land between the Isen and Itkta, passing Ivern and Incels south of the Caithbelon, and past Dinsolin, St. Michael's Mount, to take water at the town where ships traded, standing at the foot of the red cliff between the world to the northern Ikta. Here they are unwelcome, but were permitted to take water and wood and to trade for meat and grain. Sailing thence towards the rising sun, they came to the place beyond Sabron, called Summerland. I lived in a town called Summerland. So basically it's talking about the trip of Jesus when he was working on Joseph of Arimathea's ships. Claudius. All right, this stuff's all super weak. It's not this. I'm not trying to read all this right now. Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John is that it contains far more material, including many biographical details not found elsewhere. For instance, there is much more information about John the Baptist, John of the Wilderness, which we are told was brought to these shores by Aristolus. We are told that Jesus' mother, Mary, was a virgin only in the sense that she had once been a virgin pledged to God and the temple by her father. That the wise men from the east were men of Sostera, wise in the books of heaven, and Nimrod, who carried the cross of fire, that Jesus described as Jesus the Nazarene, was brought up in Gennesareth and trained to make plows. That at the time his father died, he was working as a craftsman among the Kenites. Yeah, this is super cool. Hold on. I'm going to have to read this at another night because I'm running out of steam and I'm not going to give it proper credence if I read it now. My voice is getting a bit coarse and my feet are cold because I'm in the garage and it's cold as fuck. But the Kaledi, which is another book, basically goes deeper than the Gospels, which is exactly what we're looking for. Specifically, the Gospel of John of Luna. In other words, we've stumbled upon a treasure trove of historic information, we'll call it, pertaining to the history of mankind, which is super dope. From corresponding elements to the Bible, to the Emerald Tablets, to Atlantis, to the Celtic Druids, to fucking the Romans even popped up in here, the Nazarenes. We're talking about the three wise men who came to Jesus. So expect more goodies. And it's going to be a long road, but I would like to record these as official audiobooks and release them on my channel. It could take quite some time, so sit tight. And those of you guys who have been supporting on the Patreon or the Super Chats or sharing the content and stuff like that, thank you so much, because you guys really make it worthwhile. These audiobooks are no joke, as I'm sure you guys can tell. And thank you. So Salavi is in here. Thank you so much for being a member on the channel. Agent Smith, thank you. Whoa. Smith, thank you for everything. Slavi, thank you. War Titan, please stay for the expedition. Phoenix, all you guys. I'm sorry I'm calling it early, but it is what it is. I'll talk to you guys soon, all right? Have a good night. And before going to bed tonight, listen to this because it's really unlocking some shit for me. It's a cool link. It's one of the oldest recording songs in known history, an ancient Sumerian song of Gilgamesh. Sung in ancient Sumerian, played on an ancient Sumerian instrument. So, enjoy it. I'll see you guys soon, all right?